As a former visa officer, a question that I get asked all the time is, how do I show my ties to the visa officer? How can I do that in just the few minutes that I have, especially when they won't even look at my documents? They're not even looking at me. How do I prove that I'll definitely come back to my home country after my visa interview? And that is a great question. So at Argo, we really believe that visa applicants have to be very proactive in their visa interview. And this means that you're not going to be passive and just wait for the questions to be asked of you. You're actively showing the visa officer all of the strengths in your case. And it's not something that you can do directly. I know many visa applicants who would like to just walk into their visa interview, push those documents across and say, hey, visa officer, here are all my ties. Here's the strengths in my case. Give me my visa. We should be done with this already. But unfortunately, the visa interview is a little bit more nuanced of a process than that. It is not something that is simple where you can just say everything and list things out. Visa officers really believe that this is more of a conversation happening at the visa interview. And so you have to make sure that you are getting the highlights, the strongest points in your case across while having a very, positive engagement and positive interaction with the visa officer. And that's not something that you can do without a little bit of practice and without an expert letting you know, hey, that was really great, or hey, that did not work at all. Because here's something really important to know about visa officers. They hate being told what to do. They hate being told to make a decision this way or that way. You can't ever tell the visa officer, hey, just give me my visa. Here are all the ways that I qualify. Visa officers, you should really see them as a judge in your case, and they like to come to their own conclusion after you demonstrate all of your ties. And how exactly do you do that without documentation? Because again, visa officers don't like to look at documentation. Well, this is something that we can share with you at Argo Visa, at an Argo consultation with a former visa officer. This is our bread and butter. This is what we do all the time, every day. And every single one of our former visa officers has interviewed tens of thousands of visa applicants. So when we do a consultation with you, we know immediately if what you're doing makes sense and if it's working or not working. And if it's not working, we let you know how best to get your point across. How can you convey those strong ties in that conversation, in that interview with the visa officer without rambling, without giving irrelevant information. And it really does take a little bit of practice. I know in the Argo consultations that I do with clients, the first mock interview that we do is always really bad. And I always have to tell the client, no, we are not going to answer the question like that, because that's just going to confuse the visa officer. You're not coming across the right way. So it really is a session that is very lots of engagement with our ex-visa officer to work on a strategy that works best for your personal situation. Because guess what? Everybody's situation is a little bit different. Everybody has complications in their case, whether it's having lots of family in the United States, having prior refusals. But guess what? Despite all of that, we can still help you and help you succeed at your visa interview. So I hope that this information is helpful to you. You can find out more about us at www.argovisa.com. We have all sorts of social media channels, and you can watch more videos on how to tackle this very high stakes visa interview, because guess what? That record stays with you for life. So invest in an Argo consultation so that you can do it the right way. You won't get a visa denial. You won't be setting yourself back and trying to, climb out of a hole that you've dug yourself into because you didn't know how to handle the visa interview. So if you have any other topics that you would like me to address, please feel free to drop it in the comments below, and I look forward to working with you.